Welcome to the For Real Though Show, the podcast with the purpose for the people. I'm your host, Christopher Keith. Thanks for joining us. You know, we're brought to you by So What? I'm not going to sing it to you, mess your ears up this time. So we'll hear from them a little bit later, but I want to drop right into our subject matter today, which is in defense of the Black woman, as you saw on the clip there, description. So, I just want to say up front, this is dedicated to all Black women, regardless of your age, your rank, your income, your abilities, your social status, what have you. Specifically, it's directed toward African American women, women of African descent who happen to live in America, and so that's what this is all about. I ain't saying you get anybody else can get something out of it. That's great, but this is for you, ladies. My mother, grandmother, who since gone, aunties who since gone, any Black woman who I know, who I don't know, known and unknown. This is for you. So, yeah, so I just felt like this has just been something brewing in my heart for a long time. Discuss this matter, the Black woman. I just really in my heart has observed, specifically, over the last maybe several years, I'd say, that I just feel like, well, it ain't that I feel, to me, it's facts. Uh, Black women, have just gotten really the short end of the stick, when it comes to the support that they need. And I'm not talking about amongst white folks or anything like that. I'm talking about specifically from Black people, from men and women of African descent who live in America, whose lineages are from America. I'm not talking about if you're from Africa, Jamaica, or something like that. And not that that doesn't apply, but I'm just saying, like, if you're a new immigrant or something like that, then some of these things that I'm talking about may not resonate, or may not be as applicable to you because you didn't have to go through that, but the Black women of America have had to go through a ton, and it really ain't been nothing nice. And I just think it's time that we stand up for them. And as a Black male, the Black male of African descent, living in America all his life, it's time for us to do that. So, um, first let's talk about why we got to the subject. What made me decide to cover this in the first place? I think what it started with was things that happened with Bill Cosby initially, and then R. Kelly, and just Black folks' reaction to it. So let's start with the cause. Initially when his allegations came out, and the numbers just started piling up, from a couple, a few, several, a plethora, you know, I think, when you look at social media feeds or go to the barbershop, be on a basketball court or whatever, just anywhere where Black people congregate, at the set or whatever, um, the sentiments was just, it was all about defending cause, talked about, well, he gave all these money to HBCUs and stuff like that. And he had the Cosby show uh, and things, that nature. Okay. And then uh, the other thing they said was, well, it's just a bunch of white women. And then when it came up, that there were Black women as well, that just got ignored. I mean, by and large, between Black men and a lot of Black women that I know, that just kind of got kicked to the curb. Like it didn't matter. We just stood up for the celebrity, the person that gave us entertainment, the person that we recognize, who we don't know from a can of paint. You know what I mean? Just like we don't know, the victims, and I can say victims because they're not alleged anymore because he was found guilty. So, we came up with all these excuses. First, it was just the white women. Then it was okay. Then it was like, well, she knew what she was doing. This is all the stuff I heard. She knew she was doing. That's what they did back in the day. They gave them drugs, blah blah blah. They was on it. They just want a bag. Um, all that kind of crazy mess. Oh, and then of course the my favorite, my personal favorite is, but he was gonna buy NBC, So that's why, and then you heard all the stuff about Harvey Weinstein and Woody Allen, blah blah blah, and then when Harvey Weinstein was convicted, then it was silence. So personally, I was like, all right, so you know, Harvey Weinstein got convicted. What's up? He in jail. Uh, what's the other guy? I forget his name. The one that got killed in New York. That was driving a private jet. Remember, I forgot what his name was, but they said he hung himself in New York. But Jeffrey Epstein, they say he hung himself, but I don't believe that at all. I don't think most sensible people believe that. But anyway, when all that stuff happened, they still didn't come back with it. You know what I mean? So when it was, again, even when it was black women that were his accusers, we didn't care. By and large, we didn't care. We defended the person. Same way with R. Kelly. And R. Kelly was on a different level because, I mean, it was just world known, you know, uh, that, he was hanging out at the McDonald's, down from Kenwood High School, picking up women. And, we should have known, when it came to Aaliyah, I wasn't, on the bandwagon then as far as, standing up for Aaliyah or anything like that. I can easily admit that. Uh, Men, whether they black or white, have led a long history of liking young girls. Some people are attracted to young girls, unfortunately, and so just like Jerry Lee Lewis, Chubby Checker, uh, not necessarily Chubby Checker, I'm thinking the other guy, uh, the guy that played the guitar from St. Louis. Uh, uh, yeah, his name is escaping me. Those guys, James Brown, I think, Marvin Gaye. They all had this thing with young women. Uh, and so I think with Aaliyah, I think what came to my mind at that time when I first heard about, they got married and blah, 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 she was underage, you know, I didn't trip off over too much because it's not like, you'll put it this way, I didn't really examine it, as such, because I knew that there's a history of guys, you know, like in young women and, in different cultures, depending on the culture you in, young girl can get married, blah, blah, blah. Uh, and I mean, on the inside, I already could see that Aaliyah could be attracted to him or whatever, because of his statue, star power, ability to add input into her career, et cetera, et cetera. And I think the most of all, though, it was just to me, it was an isolated thing. You know what I mean? Like they were together, then they broke up. Uh, and so it was an isolated thing for me. And I wasn't pressing it too much, in my own thoughts. But then when all these other women came out and started talking about the abuse, locking them up, the infamous, P tape, and all these other things, then it became something else, for me personally. Um, and as we went on and on with it, when Surviving R. Kelly came out and all this other stuff, again, I was just really surprised about how we reacted, because now you're talking about young girls who aren't of the age of consent, and you're talking about, people who are very impressionable. And a lot of times, what I heard was, well, they knew what it was. Again, kind of like the same thing with Cosby. What about the parents? That was a big one. What about the parents? Where were the parents? Well, I don't know that that makes a difference because, yeah, we know of at least one parent that seemed like he was down with it. Uh, but I don't think that that excuses anything. I mean, that's just to me, that's a very illogical and whack way of looking at things. Again, I think it was because we like to step in the name of love. You know what I mean? So, that's not something that we wanted to dive into because now we got to question, ourselves. And again, I think it was just, and then when you're talking about, again, 13, 14, 15-year-old girls, I mean, the thing I would always go back to that I would ask people is, what if that was your daughter? What if that was your, mother, your grandmother, your grandmother with Kaz, or, your niece with R. Um, I don't, and I'm gonna tell you 9 times out of 10, I don't think to this day I ever got a response back. I'm talking about 9 times out of 10. As I think about it, I don't recall ever getting a response back uh to those questions. And it just got me to thinking, man, you know, man, black women are just so devalued. Young black women are so devalued that, we just didn't care. And I mean, I remember people getting on the radio, I'm gonna play my R. Kelly, and when it really got bad, it's kind of like, I don't know, we all got to pick our battles, right? We all got to pick what we decide to rock with, artistically, uh, versus, what we hold a person's moral standard to. For me, with R. Kelly, it just got too much for me. And then on top of it, with one of the things that he and Kaz have in common is their arrogance, that their fuck you mentality, to the rest of us, who gave a damn, to the victims especially. It was a really fuck you mentality. And that's just something that really bothered me. Something I couldn't give up, you know. Um, so, that was for that. But okay, so now that you think about it though, those are just two examples, right? Because they're well known, and I think it's something most of us can relate to, and we had an opinion about it. Uh, on the flip side, personally, I could tell you most of the women, just full disclosure, most of the women in my family, uh, most of the women in my family that I know of, both dead and alive, have had some sort of physical abuse or sexual abuse done against them. Now that's most. So it's only a couple or a few that I know of that didn't. Okay, so that goes to show you that historically, I know it's not just my family. Historically, uh, this is how we've treated black women, and it's been something that we've put up with, that we haven't seriously dealt with or challenged black men on. So much so that even black women, and I know that sometimes black women can have their own, you know, rivalries with other black women and that sort of thing. I've seen that come out, and I know that there's a dynamic there that I might not necessarily understand. And I can appreciate that I might not understand it, and I won't try, to comment on that, too much. Certainly without knowledge, certainly with knowledge, because I don't have it. But like I said, I know in my family is it's definitely going on, and I know I'm not the only one. Talk to other people who, again, have some of these same experiences in their families. So, but again, historically, misogyny, overall, is for all women, it's certainly been a thing, but I just think black women are getting the worst of it. You can look at our religious institutions. Uh, I have an aunt who, passed a few years ago, and I remember way back, you know, she didn't believe that a woman should speak behind a pulpit, at her church. And I think she didn't get that by herself. Her church taught her that a woman shouldn't even be in the pulpit. Like, she can preach, but she can't be up behind that little mantle. She can go on the side or something. But she couldn't preach. Like, God couldn't use her, the God they believe in, couldn't use her, uh, a female to do those things. And most religions are that way. They're not gonna let a woman speak. A lot of them, they'll let a woman speak, but to other women, they won't let them speak to men. You know, and again, they'll bring up a scripture: a woman can't tell a man, blah 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 blah. It's like statistics. You know what I mean? You can make them lie if you want to. You can make them say anything you want them to say. Um, you go back to the civil rights movement. You know, The only thing, like if you look at the King March, I believe it was 1962 when he did the speech and all of that. Whatever that was, 62, 66, 64. I don't remember. Not a scholar on these things with the specific dates, but you didn't really have women speaking. You didn't have women speaking. You had Mahalia Jackson who sang, right? But other than that, you just was a sausage party. You know what I mean? You just had a bunch of dudes up there, you know, speaking for the movement when, women were in the background doing all kinds of stuff, but they didn't get to speak. Uh, Coretta Scott King, she was a boss. She was a boss. And even after Martin died, was assassinated, she did a lot of things. She came up with the funding for the King Center. She was out there for LGBT rights, as far as the early 80s. But even after King's passing, the way they talk about Dr. King this, Dr. King that, and I'm talking about black clergy, black preachers, they resented her. They resented her a lot. Jesse Jackson resented her. He felt like she should be giving that money to him and his rainbow push. They just didn't feel like women had a say. It was still very misogynistic even back then. I was talking to Sapphira Shuttlesworth about this, Fred Shuttlesworth's widow, and she confirmed the same thing, man. Yeah, of course. She was like, Chris, of course it was all misogynistic then, so even for the struggle to have equal rights, we were somewhat hypocritical in that we were for equal rights for certain things, certain people in certain ways, but not for everyone. And that's our legacy, and we were cool with it. That's the thing I want you to understand. We were cool with it. Like it was so normalized that we didn't even consider, we didn't even trip off of it. It was just on pat, just on pat. But yeah, Hosea Williams, all them people, man, they had beef with Coretta. They couldn't. Matter of fact, you should read her book. She wrote an autobiography, and I'm telling you, they couldn't stand her. They couldn't stand her. Okay, but then again, I'm gonna look. Let's talk about a little bit about how great women have been to the struggle. Obviously, you know, from a homeboy perspective, if you will, there's been songs bazillion years about 50, 1100 years about a praying grandma, women being in the church, holding the men down. You know what I'm saying? They've been doing that, for centuries, you know, having to deal with being enslaved, having their kids taken from them, being raped, all of that over and over again. Yet she's risen over and over. Um, so, that's one historical perspective, but, just in recent years, when you look at, like, for instance, let's look at the political power, of Black women. Okay. So, we got Raphael Warnock, in the race, right? He won his Senate seat. He won after, having a temporary seat. He ran again for a complete term, and he won. Well, the people that really helped put him on was, like the likes of Stacey Abrams and those players that played with the Atlanta Dream who got Kelly Loeffler up out of the paint. See what I'm saying? So these were the women who were instrumental putting their careers on the line, saying, hey, even though we play for this woman, we don't G for her, we don't support her, even though she's, paying the bills, she signed a check, but she don't represent my life. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't uh she can't lord that over me. I'm still a free citizen. And I don't want that heifer up in representing me as a senator. So they got her ass out the paint. See what I'm saying? Those are WNBA players, black women, black women. Let's see a theme here. Okay. But look how we treated Brittany Griner, speaking of black women and WNBA players. You know, when she got detained, there was no uproar from black people. You know, and a lot of that was because she's tall, she's a lesbian, you know. So again, we look hypocritical because we not about that life, that free life for everyone. We're not about that uh, pro-black across the board. You know what I'm saying? Like, sister ain't never did nothing bad to us. She ain't no Candace Owens or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? She hoops, she lives her life, and the only reason she had to go to Russia in the first place is because the pay is so low here in the States. So people was just they ain't have no love for her. And even when she came back, shit, half of us wasn't even happy for her. We was talking about Paul Whelan and shit like that without even doing no, American Soldier, Paul Whelan, yada yada yada. Well, shit, Paul Whelan was already it already fucked up his service record. And as I said in a prior podcast, if you look at the things that he was convicted of by the United States government, shit, everything the Russians had been accusing him of. Put it this way, like I said, even if he didn't do it, he'd be the kind of guy that did it. If you just look at his service record, so I'm not going. I already did your homework there before, but you go take a look at it now. You look at Paul Wheeler's service record. So the point is, they talking about this white boy. This is up for the white boy, the white boy who was a criminal, who got kicked out of the service, to this sister who wasn't a criminal. She shouldn't have had to weed, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, okay. And most of all you motherfuckers smoke weed, do weed, you know what I mean, one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? So again, they was cool with it. And again, when she came back, y'all mad. Didn't give her no love. It's a black woman. It's a black woman. Why is that? Why is that? So I think, again, she tall, lesbian, blah, blah, blah. And I said just before, if she looked like Beyonce or Nia Long, oh, fuck it. If Beyonce was over there, what would y'all say? Y'all same motherfuckers. If she had a bird of coke, what would y'all niggas say? Okay, so let's keep it 100. If she had a whole brick on her and got arrested, y'all be bring Bay home, right? But y'all ain't have no love for Brittany Griner. So the issue is, if you can't fuck her or fantasize about fucking her, then she was no value. So saying that's the real deal, you know. But you know, who do we get? Who do we get on our soapbox for though? I'm gonna talk about that in a second. But talk about who we got on the soapbox for. Tell you who we didn't defend. We just gonna continue to talk about who we didn't defend. Tiffany Cross. Tiffany Cross, who had the Cross Connection on MSNBC, she had the highest rated cable TV news show on the weekends. Highest rated. Kicking ass, taking names, telling it how it is, week by week. Sister Sharp, got her shit together, good looking, crisp haircut every week, you know what I'm saying? Dress representing the finest of, Black America. And when she got her show canned, I didn't hear shit from black men. I didn't hear shit from black women. Well, except if you was in the field. So if you look at Jamel Hill or Joanne Reed or somebody like that, Angela Rye, well, they talked to it. They had issues with it. But the regular, just everyday black people, I didn't hear most of y'all saying shit. Y'all didn't say shit. Matter of fact, I asked a brother, very good friend of mine out in LA. I was like, hey man, because he used to be in the nation. He's a Muslim now, but he used to be in the nation. Still got love for the nation. He still got love for Farrakhan and all of that. Great brother. So I asked him, I was like, hey man, how come, Farrakhan didn't say nothing about, this sister getting kicked to the curb? And he was like, well, he's like, well, generally the nation doesn't, get involved in, political stuff like that, or, media and that kind of thing. And I was like, really? Well, again, I beg to differ because when it come to Kyrie, when it come to Kanye, Farrakhan has something to say. Okay, so when Kanye, I'm sorry, when Kyrie didn't want to get the vaccine, when he was talking about Jews this and he supported the movie and all this other kind of shit, when he started suffering some repercussions of that, then Farrakhan had something to say. Then keeping it 100, every nigga I know had something to say about it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, poor Kyrie, they just gang it up on him. Like, and that's cool, man. Like, if you wanted to support Kyrie, that's fine. I'm saying, but you support Kyrie, but you ain't got no who arguably was fucking his own shit up. Okay, he fucking his own shit up because it ain't like the vaccine and the Jew thing was his first go around with discipline. It's the same motherfucker that was like, yeah, I need to take a mental break, from basketball because I'm, worried about January 6th and all this other kind of shit. And then another time, why he taking a break, but then his ass is seen kicking at a party, birthday party, on company time while you getting your full salary. So, but y'all, it's cool. So you want to stick up for him, but you ain't got no words for Tiffany Cross. You ain't got no words for Brittany Griner other than negative ones. Okay? That shit don't make sense to me. Same way for Kanye West. You know, Kanye was like, I could say something anti-Semitic right now, and can't nobody do nothing about it. Ah, right? Then what happened? Then when his shit got fucked up, now y'all want to go buy some Weezy. See what I'm saying? So where's the consistency? There is none. It's a dude. It was a guy, black guy, Kanye, Kyrie, R. Kelly, Bill Cosby. It's a theme here that no matter what they did, you was down. Black women, not so much. Speaking of which, and this is what on the side note, you know, and this is like, everybody can get it. Everybody can get it. Y'all already know how I get down. Everybody can get it. And so, to me, that's like Farrakhan following in the steps of Elijah Muhammad, who told Cassius Clay, who told anybody he knew that Cassius Clay wasn't going to be Sonny Liston. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't going to be them. He went telling them that all everywhere. Anybody who could listen to him, that's what he told them. Okay. But at the same time, he telling Muslim brothers who are under him that they don't involve themselves in sports. They don't involve themselves in a brutal sport such as boxing. Y'all can't watch that shit. Y'all don't need to be watching that. That's too worldly. You need to be worried about, what, Allah and the most honorable Elijah Muhammad wanted you to do. So I'm like, well, shit. How the fuck does he have a goddamn opinion on the fight? If as Nation of Islam people, y'all shouldn't be watching the fight, then why does he got a fucking opinion on it? How do you even know? But then after Cassius Clay wins and changes his name to Muhammad Ali, which Elijah Muhammad gave him, then, Allah has done this. See what I'm saying? It's all bullshit. So therefore, don't tell me you can't speak up for a black woman. Don't tell me that when he was having all these babies with these black girls, that shit was cool. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that. What was these brothers when all my conspiracy theory brothers out there, uh where was y'all at, when the whole Roe v. Wade thing was under attack, getting overturned? Don't hear from them. Don't hear from them. And I think it's because men can't have babies. Men can't have babies. Because if they did and the baby was coming out their ass, they walking around having to be pregnant. You know, bro, oh, look at you, bro. You pregnant? Yo, shit, yo, look, homeboy over there pregnant. if that could get down like that, then people, I think brothers have something to say about that. But you just but you don't even lend your voices to it. You don't lend your voices to it. You just got to fight that battle all by itself. See what I'm saying? That ain't cool, man. That ain't cool. Let's talk about some other black women accomplishments, who don't get their love. You know, Oprah Winfrey. Now, I didn't hear black folks talk shit about Oprah her whole fucking career. Her whole fucking career. Okay. And the thing is, y'all say, well, Cosby was going to buy NBC. But here you got a woman who went from news reporter, I believe in Baltimore, went from news reporter to talk show host, to eventually building such a brand that she starts her own station. She started her own station. The OWN network. She started her own damn station, bro. Like she owned it. Like she owns it. It's funny that she would call it own too. Like, yeah, because I own this motherfucker. And, it had its slow start, right? But let's fast forward. Look at all the black folk that got put on. Look at all the black folks that got put on. Tyler Perry, Iyanla Vanzant, okay? Ava DuVernay. Ava DuVernay, great director who gave us, 5 seasons of Queen Sugar? And guess what? Out of all the seasons of Queen Sugar, all female directors. I'm sorry, let me correct myself. All black female directors. 42 women. 39 black women who were first-time directors. Bet you didn't know that, did you? Bet you didn't know that. 42 women. I keep saying women, I'm sorry, but I said at the top, this is dedicated to black women. 42 black women. 42 black women directed Queen Sugar. 39 first-time directors. So that started with Oprah. So now you got this branch, you got the tree, and all these different branches that came out. Right? I seldom hear black folks, men or women, especially men, say good things about Oprah. Right? And it ain't like, any figure can't get it again. You know what I mean? Everybody can get it. So, Oprah was whack, when she took the little camera crew to Hawaii, you know, I don't know what the purpose of the camera crew was. I don't know what her intentions were. So I ain't gonna hate on it. I'm gonna just say it was bad form and maybe she wasn't reading the room, or how it was gonna come off. But that being said, if you want to get on her ass for that, then get on her ass for that. But you can't get on her ass and be like, yeah, look at her. She want to be this. She want to be that. Yo, she's already that. But again, if I look at Beyonce, well, y'all just love that because I think you felt like you can't fuck her, but you can fantasize about fucking. You can look at them legs. Oh, she got great legs. Oh, look how fine she is. See what I'm saying? So now your dick is talking. Your lust is talking, not your black man narrative of supporting these people mentally and spiritually. It's got something to do with your entertainment, you know what I'm saying? Or your lust. That just ain't cool. So, and the last person that I want to talk about in this is, this is the latest, just the latest version is, Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion was shot by this dude, Tory Lanez, this Canadian guy. Hell, shit, he ain't even fucking American. He Canadian. He shoots the girl, and hip hop community ain't saying shit. They either ain't saying shit or they sided with Tory Lanez. But I think I think we should talk about that a little bit. I want to read you something about her case. After after he was convicted, let's start a little bit here, about what she went through. So this is from Legal Affairs and Trials with Megan Cuniff. It's a website. So this is part of the article. It says Lanz was arrested on a gun charge shortly after the July 12th, 2020 shooting in Los Angeles, Hollywood Hills. He and Megan were leaving reality star Kylie Jenner's home with Megan's friend, Kelsey Nicole Harris, when an argument broke out and Megan exited the Escalade on Nicholas Canyon Road barefoot and in her bikini. She testified in trial that she heard Lanz say, "Dance, bitch," before he opened fire. Obviously, yeah, she initially denied being shot, telling police she stepped on the glass, despite needing surgery to remove bullet fragments from her feet. So I think that's important because here you got even Megan Thee Stallion being shot, escalating, evacuating the vehicle, to try to get away barefoot, so she's scared. And then he pulls out a gun, tell her dance, bitch, and shoots her. So even she's trying to protect this dude, you know. So as all this going on before she finally decided to tell the truth, you know, again, this dude denying it. Uh, all these other rappers is talking shit, and it was the same way with Chris Brown and Rihanna, right? Back in the day, back in the day. Uh, when Chris Brown, beat up Rihanna, shit, I can't tell you the amount of black women I know online on social media who was like, I don't care. He can really dance. I'm going to see him. But when Chris Brown released a jam, I can't wait to listen to it. And again, I'm not saying you can't listen to it. You don't have to. I'm not saying you don't have to like it or like his music, but I'm saying you had no critique. You had no critique of what he did, and that's my problem. It's just like you just wanted to ignore it. But anyway, let's talk about what Megan said. So in a written statement read aloud in court, Megan said she struggled with whether to attend in person, and her absence should not be seen anything other than her preserving her mental well-being. She says since Lance shot her, quote, "I've not experienced a single day of peace," unquote. Megan said mercy is for people who show remorse, and Lance has shown none. She goes, "He not only shot me," this is quote, "he also made a mockery of my trauma. He tried to position himself as a victim and set out to destroy my character and my soul. He lied to anyone that would listen and paid bloggers to disseminate false information about the case on social media. He released music videos and songs to damage my character and continue his crusade. At first, he tried to deny the shoot never happened. Then he attempted to place the blame on my former best friend. In his tantrum of lies, he blamed the system, blamed the press. As of late, using his childhood trauma to shield himself to avoid culpability." She said that Lance must be forced to face the full consequences of his heinous actions and face justice. And then his lawyer, Lance's lawyer, uh, Javi Baez, who I guess he got his fame by representing Casey Anthony. Uh, he's like, well, yeah, his troubled childhood, yada yada yada, alcoholism, yada yada yada, but then he's still denying that he even did the shit. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, I see Megan as having to stand up for herself because I didn't see black MCs. I didn't see, you know, any of the brothers who do daily, video releases, you know, talking about it, defending her, defending her right not to be shot by another black man. I didn't see that. And, it's a lot of brothers out here that's got shit out. You know what I'm saying? Shit, Kwame Brown, you got Willie D, and these are two brothers, these two brothers I listen to, you know, uh, two brothers who's, I check these stuff out, so I support them, support them both. I don't agree with everything they say, just like they wouldn't agree with everything I say. But, I don't see them having, supporting this black woman. And if I'm wrong, send me the video clip, and I'll apologize. It's all good. You know. So, I think I'm not going to do a whole full dissertation on this thing, but I just want to, just show some of our inequities and how we act, how we behaved, and I also want to shout a few other black women out. I want to shout out April Ryan. She's the first full-time black White House correspondent. She stays on Trump's ass. I want to shout out Jamel Hill, who's been nothing but progressive, representing both black men and women, best interest at heart in all terms of her career, never stop being a truth teller. Yamiche Alcindor, I want to shout her out, get another news reporter who's always kept it 100. Stacey Abrams, already mentioned. And the funny thing is I know brothers, who are politically astute who trash Stacey Abrams because she might have said one thing and, backed up off of it or something to that degree. But again, to me, that's fine if you're going to critique her because she's in a position to be critiqued. That's fine. But if you ain't got nothing good to say about her, but then these same brothers, when they come off as saying and doing some shit that they didn't come through with, you ain't got nothing to say about it. So why is it that you're so hard on the women? That's what I'm saying. Why are you so hard on the women? Where it's all or nothing. It's all or nothing. You know what I'm saying? With Oprah, it's nothing. With Stacey Abrams, well, you bagged off. You said you was for reparations, blah, blah, blah. And then now it's just nothing. It's just 100 to 0 or fuck, maybe 25 to 0. But there's no nuance there. But with the guys, well, sometimes brothers be tripping, sometimes they ego get in the way, blah, blah, blah. Alicia Garza, Patrice Cullors, Opa Tometi created Black Lives Matter. Okay. So y'all say Black Lives Matter, you got t-shirts on. Did you know it was women who started that movement, who named that movement? And again, if you're going to critique them, that's fine. But I don't understand why they got to be perfect in the dudes, though. I don't understand that. And, even with the, old COVID shot, the main person that came through with the ingredients for a successful COVID vaccine, it's a black woman. So I'm saying, so black women have just saved us at so many turns. I mean, even the oldest one I can remember is just go back through our history. If you didn't have nothing but an old praying grandma, I've never heard, oh, I got an old praying grandpa. It's funny. My grandfather, who recently passed, rest in peace, Leo the Lion Moore, every time I talked to him, he used to say stuff like, hey, I pray for you every day. Y'all pray for me. And that was dope. But there are gospel songs about a praying grandmother. But that grandmama always prayed for. I heard, people in the music business, my grandma, I was raised in the church. The women had you in church. Wasn't dudes. For the most part, it wasn't dudes. With apologies to Brother C.L. Franklin, it wasn't dudes. It was women that had you in there. It's women that prayed you through. See what I'm saying? It's black women that did all this, cooked your food, had your babies, took care of the house, held it down when the men was out there in the streets gambling, cheating, doing whatever, holding it down. You know, Coretta never believed that Mark was out there doing the do, you know, and to the day she died, don't seem like she believed it. At least she wouldn't admit it publicly, but she was holding it down with them kids. See what I'm saying? But we still treat them like fucking second class citizens. And we accepting that shit. So, you know, we need to do better. I just say that. We need to do better. Check the record. Check the record. Look at your own history. Look at society all around you. Look at, I'm not without fault. I was raised in this shit. Matter of fact, I've had my own issues with black women. You know, I remember, you know, certain jobs I worked at. You know, some of my haters, some of my biggest haters, some of my biggest snickerers, if you will, were black women. You know, I used to work a couple places, and I remember, you know, black women saying, you know, I've heard it, you know, heard it come back to me that they said things like this. And, you know, and other black women have told me that that's what these black women say. Well, you know, we know Chris, but we really don't know him. You know, he's a really cool guy, but we don't really know him. And that's because I wouldn't let them know my business. You know what I'm saying? And that hurted me. It did. I remember I was talking to a sister one time at this job, and you know, we was just chopping it up or whatever. And I was like, "How you been? Blah blah blah. You know, how's your kid? How's your daughter? You know." And so one day she was like, I was talking to her, you know, just doing a check in, and she was like, "What's your angle?" I'm like, "What you mean? Well, what you want from me? What's your angle? What you trying to do?" I'm like, "No, sister, I ain't pushing up on you or nothing. I just was really interested in your life. Like, how you doing? You know what I mean? Like, we all out here living, trying to take care of families and kids and whatnot, you know. We all out here black, you know what I'm saying, struggling, you know, trying to come up. I was just having a conversation, generally interested in how you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of stuff really bothered me. It rubbed me the wrong way. You know, but upon reflection, I had to think. I had to think and say, man, you know, why is she that way? Why is she that way? And chances are she's that way because men, you know, I'm just talking about black men now. Black men, a lot of times, we will say anything to a sister. You know what I'm saying? We will be mad disrespectful to a sister in approaching her. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like I've been around that a lot, but I just know, hey, here's your homework assignment. Here's your homework assignment. Talk to 3 to 5 women you know, 3 to 5 black women you know. If you're a man, if you're a black man, talk to 3 to 5 black women you know and ask them some of the top 5 crazy shit that men have said to them, that black men have said to them. Walking down the street, you know, out in the marketplace or whatever, right? Ask them and see what they tell you. And I've heard some doozies. I've heard some doozies, but it will be like I've heard some shit that I just like can't even wrap my brain around saying to a person. You know, and a lot of times these are strangers. You know, people you don't even know. You know what I mean? Just come to mad disrespectful. You know, yo, ma. You know, hey, ma. You know, what's up with that ass? You know what I mean? Can I get them digits? We fucking or what? You know, like just treat them like straight objects. You know, and I ain't gonna get into all the hip hop and all other kind of stuff. You know, I'm okay. I'm okay with the art to a certain degree. You know, I sing along to the art to a certain degree because I know what I mean, you know, and I have a context for it, right? And that's not excusing or anything like that. It's just saying, for me personally, I have a context for everything that I choose to participate in or what I remember nostalgically or what have you. But but there is a standard. And I believe we all need to do better and we need to start today. So, how do we start? How do you start? Well, first of all, we have to acknowledge as Black men and as Black women that we have not treasured the Black women in our lives beyond our own family. So we might got love for our mama, grandmama, auntie, people who are close to us who've deposited into our lives. We might have love for them. But, we haven't had love for, just the everyday sister out here, trying to make it. Uh, and, we need to do better with that. You know, we need to start checking our biases, brothers. We got to check our biases. And, I'm an old fashioned kind of cat. I believe in opening doors. I believe in being a gentleman. Chivalry is not dead. Uh, so I'm all down with that. And I'm also down for, that hey, a woman can be just as powerful, if not more powerful, than a man. She could just be just as articulate, smart, if not more. It's not based on your gender. It's based on, your gifts, your abilities, your talents, the work you've put in, and they need our respect. I can tell you what I'm going to do. What am I going to do? Uh, well, part of my show will be dedicated to honoring, interviewing, uh, and bringing on this program excellent Black women. That's going to be, part of my contribution. So I've got a few who've accepted my invitation. I'll be following up with them. And hopefully, if they still down and cool, I will bring them on. So I plan to promote the excellence of the Black woman. No doubt about that. And since we all like hip hop, right? We all like hip hop. We all like, Tupac, right? I ain't say Tupac like Larry Elder's punk ass. But Tupac had a song, right? Keep your head up. And I ain't gonna try to rhyme it. I'm just gonna read it. This is a line that he says as I close this out. And since we all came from a woman, got a name from a woman, and our gain from a woman, I wonder why we take from our women, why we rape our women. Do we hate our women? I think it's time to kill for our women. Time to heal our women. Be real with our women. And I'm going to finish it up. And if we don't, we have a race of babies that will hate the ladies that make the babies. This man can't make one. He has no right to tell a woman when and where to create one. So real men, get up. I know you're fed up, ladies, but keep your head up. So I'm saying, y'all love Tupac? Then step your game up. Then step your game up. So anyway, thanks for joining me. Appreciate you. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. It helps with the algorithm and everything. We want to keep getting this information out here. This is a labor of love. Don't get paid for this. Uh, but I'm gonna use my voice. My deal on this earth is to use my voice. And that's what I'm gonna do. That's what God gave me, and that's what I'm gonna do. So before we get off of here, I'm gonna let you know what our sponsors are doing. We're brought to you by Queso. And we want to end things and just make sure you know what's up. All right. So if you're in the St. Louis area, holler at my people.
Queso what? Queso Saturdays. Get your gourmet quesadillas in styles such as queso Philly, queso burger, queso buffalo, queso Caribbean, queso C, and many more delicious options to choose from.
All fresh ingredients, marinated at least a day and a half by yours truly, cooked to perfection. 4, 5, 6 different kinds of cheeses depending on how you want it, and I can make it how you want it.
Place your orders before 5 o'clock Friday for pickup, and we are also offering delivery. Thank you so much for all the love and support you all have been showing. Let's get these orders in and have a great day.
Thank you for supporting Queso. What?
All right, so there you have it. Get with my people over there. You already know what it is. Hey, they got some new quesos. We got queso St. Paul. If you live in the St. Louis area, you know what a St. Paul is. I tried a little bit of it. Brought some back with me. Last time I was there, it's on point. So you already know what it is. I'm letting you know. Hey, they blowing up. Big things coming for queso. What? So, hey, y'all stay safe. Be easy. Keep it real. And support our Black women. Peace.